This is a short video for Year 10 students and their parents. I'd like to recommend DofE to all Year 10 students. I think it's a really good thing to get involved in. It is great fun, it looks great on your CV, and it's just something that you're going to remember for many years to come. We do an expedition in the summer, and you go with 6 or 7 friends hiking in a really lovely part of Dorset called Cranbourne Chase. You camp in a tent and you cook your own food. It's a really great experience. In addition to that, you'll be doing some voluntary work, you'll be developing some sporting skills and hopefully learning some new skills, possibly learning a new language, doing some media work, something different. Many opportunities which you're going to hear about in the short PowerPoint that's coming up now. But if you are interested in doing DofE with the school, please sign up on the online form which is on the website. I think it could be life enhancing, and even if it's not, it's going to be great fun.
Well, as Mr. Mead was just saying, this is a brief presentation on the Duke of Edinburgh's award and how we operate it here at Litchett Minster School. It's very important to realise that this is a non-competitive award, so there is no first or second place. There's no need to rush the expedition and be first across the finish line. Everyone who takes part, so long as they complete all their sections, will achieve the award. It's important to note that the award focuses on developing you as a person, so your character is developed, your skills are developed, you maybe challenge yourself in certain ways. And because of that, and because of the different sections of the award, it's balanced. Everyone gets a chance to do something they're good at, and everyone gets a chance to develop something they may be finding a bit challenging at the moment. And you will see yourself progress as you work your way through the award. Every element of it is focused on achievement, so the award celebrates that you have achieved. But it does demand a commitment, but you will enjoy it as a result. So what is it that makes up a Duke of Edinburgh's award? Well, at bronze, these are the 4 sections. They're fairly self-explanatory, and we can assist anyone who wants some help with finding something to do for each of the 4 sections. Very simply, however, volunteering is what it says it is. This is helping someone or an organisation out in a way that doesn't lead to profit either for you yourself or for the organisation. Physical. We define this loosely as something that makes you sweat. It may well be something you're already doing, a sport or activity you're already involved in, but for the award to consider it, you need to be focusing on improving in one specific area. Skills, we again loosely define this as something that makes you think. It can't be something that fits into the physical category, and this is often where students fall down, is picking something that should actually be a physical. But if you're in any way concerned about that, have a chat with us and we'll help you to make sure you've picked something appropriate. And then the expedition, the element of the award that gets the most attention, often the area that people think about, where we go walking for a few days in the lovely Dorset countryside, and you plan a route as a team and you complete it, and that constitutes your expedition. So the baseline requirement is for each section to take 3 months, and then you pick one of the first 3 sections here to add an additional 3 months to. So overall, one section will be 6 months and the other 2 will be 3 months, but which one you pick as your 6th month section is entirely up to you. The expedition at bronze will be for 2 days and 1 night, and we do that in Cranbourne Chase, and you will plan that as a team. You will work together as a team, cook your food together, camp together, and so on. Silver, that is slightly different, so there are now 2 sections at 6 months and 1 at 3, and again, as you can see, your mix of that is a little bit up to you. The expedition is also 1 day and 1 night longer than it is at bronze, and generally speaking we do that in the New Forest. Gold, if you're considering that, has even longer time requirements, as you can see here on this table. The expedition is now 4 days and 3 nights and is carried out in wild country, on Dartmoor in our case, and the residential section is also added in there, which you can see for 5 days and 4 nights. That must be something that you do without people you know at all, so you can't do it with the team you do your expedition with, for example. You need to do that with people you've never met before, and we can assist you with getting that all set up. Please bear in mind that at the time being, the expedition part of the Gold Award will be under the supervision of Dorset Open Centre, not the school. So what's the point of the volunteering section? This is, as it says here, to inspire you to make a difference in your community or to help people out who you may know who need assistance. It's all about giving to other people. These are the various things you can do as part of volunteering. You may well just have a neighbour who needs some help with shopping or gardening or something like that. You may get involved in a community organisation. You may coach or lead a team somewhere or help younger students within the school. There are a number of organisations and a number of categories that fit within volunteering, and we'd be more than happy to help you find something appropriate. The physical section. Try to find a way of improving your active lifestyle, and this can be from sport to team games to gym work, anything that will make you improve your physical characteristics. And again, this is something we can help you find if you would like some assistance. These are some of the examples, as I say, team sports or individual sports. Maybe dance, fitness activities. The school gym is often very well used in this regard, and as I say, we'd be very happy to point you in the direction of some ideas if you would like us to. So what can you expect from the skills section? Well, as it says here, it's developing practical and social skills. It may well be a personal interest you have, such as reading or maybe playing chess, playing a musical instrument, but it's something you can specifically develop in a measured way over the course of your DofE involvement. Here are a few examples of things that would fall into the skills category, and we would be more than happy to help you pick something or to steer you in the right direction if you're unsure. Games and sports are listed in the skills category, but that's in a very narrow sense. It can only be in terms of assisting with a team or training a team or developing a specific skill within a sport. And we, as I say, we have students who struggle to distinguish sometimes between whether their choice would fall into the skill category or into the physical category. So please come and have a chat with us if you're in any way unsure about that. And the expedition. So this is where you get to plan a journey, come up with an aim for your expedition, and then you walk the route you have planned as a team without much in the way of adult supervision or intervention. So this is what the expedition process looks like. We start off preparing you for it. So you will write route cards, you will draw your maps, you will get training on first aid and how to use a compass, and we will do all the bits and pieces that are needed to make sure you're safe and that you can carry out your expedition knowing you're sure of what you're doing. We then go to a practice walk, which is a simple Saturday morning walk local to the school, but in an area that you may well be unfamiliar with. You will walk as a team with a member of staff who will make sure you understand what you're doing and you can demonstrate map skills, compass skills, and so on. The practice expedition is a shortened version of the actual expedition. You will walk for a day and camp for a night. And again, we normally do that more local to the school, but that's to give us as staff the confidence that you are safe, that you know what you're doing, and that you can indeed follow your route successfully. That leads nicely then into the assessed expedition, which is where we will have an assessor external to the school get involved to make sure that you're doing it correctly, that you follow your route properly. And that's where we'll actually go out to Cranbourne Chase or to the New Forest at Silver, and you will do your actual walk and camping experience. That's normally then followed by a debrief from the assessor, who will check you were happy with how it all went, ask you some questions about it, and then a little bit later on you will do a presentation to us, to which we normally invite parents along as well, and that will involve you telling us how you got on, maybe giving us some of the highlights of your experience. So here are the timescales for an actual expedition. They get longer, obviously, as you go through the different levels of the award. That's longer in terms of the number of days and nights you're out, but also in terms of the number of hours you're doing stuff whilst you're out on expedition. And doing stuff doesn't just mean walking. It will include your cooking, it will include the activity that you're doing to achieve the aim of your expedition. So here are some provisional dates for this year. At the moment, these are still very much up in the air because we need to make sure that we can indeed go ahead, COVID restrictions allowing and so on, but a few ideas for you to start penciling things into your diary. Again, for silver, some tentative dates that we're planning towards at the moment. As it says at the bottom there, do please note that we will only allow students to get involved in the expeditions if they've been at all the training sessions required and that they've provided evidence online that they have actually started the physical skills and volunteering section. There's no point going out on the expedition if you're not going to do the other 3 sections as well. Our training sessions take place on Fridays after school, generally in the Portland block or sometimes in the theatre, depending on what we're doing. This initial date of the 3rd of October may well be pushed back. We will let everyone know exactly when we plan to start this year. But we cover a number of topics, as you can see here, and these are all things that we need to do to make sure you're safe to go out on expedition. The first couple of sessions will involve you making sure you can log into DofE, which is the portal that you log all your evidence and everything for the other sections. And we also make sure in those sessions that you are comfortable with choosing the right activity for each of the other sections. So what kit do you need to buy? Hiking boots, and we're very specific about this. We will not allow trainers, we will not allow hiking shoes. We require hiking boots that you have worn in and that are yours, not hand-me-downs from someone else. And we have had issues in the past where someone has turned up without hiking boots and the assessor has not let them go on the expedition. That could have a detrimental effect on your team as well, so we would strongly urge you to get hiking boots as soon as you can and start wearing them in. They will be much more comfortable if you also have a decent pair of walking socks. And when it comes to socks, we can assist you with the purchase of those because we have an arrangement with one of the local suppliers where we can buy them at a discount for you. Waterproof jacket and trousers are essential given the sort of weather conditions we can expect. It's always likely to be a little bit showery and you will undoubtedly therefore want something to keep you dry, so we insist that you have a waterproof jacket and trousers with you in your rucksack. Speaking of your rucksack, a 65-litre one should be more than adequate. Do make sure that you get one that's been fitted properly. Many of them are adjustable in terms of the back length and the straps that hold it secure when you're walking. So make sure you go and see one of these outfitter shops to make sure that you've got one that's suitable for your size. So a few frequently asked questions now. Yes, you do have to attend all the training sessions. We do understand that sometimes people will be ill or absent for whatever reason. That's fine. We just like to know in advance if it's something you're planning to be away for because you're involved in something else in school. Just let us know and we can make sure that we catch you up with anything you miss. Likewise, if you were unwell on a certain Friday, we'd appreciate it if you just come and find us and let us know as soon as you're back in school. If you don't complete one of the sections, then it's really quite simple. You don't get your award. So we keep a close eye on how students are progressing throughout the course of the year because we can watch as evidence is logged in DofE, and we can assist with getting that evidence uploaded if you need it, but don't forget about this. Don't neglect to put stuff in DofE. Do let us know if you're getting stuck with anything though. Well, as I said, our expeditions are carried out local to the school for the practice side of things. But bronze assessed expedition is in Cranbourne Chase and the silver assessed is in the New Forest. Gold assessed expeditions are out on Dartmoor, but as I said earlier, those are currently overseen by Dorset County Council's Open Centre rather than by the school directly. A few shots of Cranbourne Chase. As you can see, it's a really beautiful part of the world and there's plenty of wildlife to be seen if you look closely enough. Students have always enjoyed the experience and found some really fantastic views as they've been walking around. Likewise, out in the New Forest, if you know the area at all, you'll know how stunningly beautiful it is and a lovely place to camp. You wake up with some stunning sunrises and have some beautiful sunsets as you're cooking your evening meal. Again, in the New Forest, there's loads of wildlife around, and we've got some great photos over the years of some of the ponies and other animals that you're likely to see out in the forest. They do have the downside, however. You'll need to make sure you keep your food well packed and away from roaming wild horses. As you can see, this particular team lost their dinner that evening because they hadn't put everything safely inside their tent. It's not necessarily a failure if you get lost on your expedition. Your assessor will expect you to reroute yourselves and find your way back to where you're supposed to be, and as long as you can do that and explain how you went wrong and how you sorted it out, that's not a problem at all. Your expedition will be assessed by an external assessor. That's someone who's not involved in your training, and therefore, generally speaking, is someone from outside of school who we pay to bring in for the occasion. And they've always been people we've enjoyed working with, and students have found very easy to get on with. They want you to succeed. They're not there to trip you up. They're not there to catch you out. They're not going to be hiding behind a tree watching you going wrong. They're there to try and help you and to make sure you can achieve the award successfully. We like a team to be between 5 and 7 people. This allows for 1 or 2 people to drop out or to become ill without affecting the team. So we would like you to form teams of between 5, 6 or preferably 7 members, please. You can choose your own teams, although if it gets to the point where we're struggling to make teams up, we may ask you to take someone else on, or maybe take a couple of people away if a team's a bit larger than some of the smaller ones, just to even numbers out. But generally speaking, we would allow you to choose your own teams. Each expedition has an aim, which is chosen by the team themselves. This could be as simple as studying the wildlife that you see whilst out on your expedition, or it might be making a video on how to undertake a successful Duke of Edinburgh's expedition. It might be writing a song together, but all of the expeditions have to have an aim, and that's something that you can demonstrate at the end of the expedition that you have achieved together as a team whilst you've been out on the expedition. It's nothing to worry about, it's just something that you have to do as part of the expedition, and it's something we'd be more than happy to help with if you're stuck for an idea. We will continue the expeditions pretty much whatever the weather. The only time we would call it off is if there is a real threat or danger to life through, for example, lightning, and that would be the only time we would consider maybe temporarily halting the expedition, calling everyone safely somewhere into the minibus or something like that, until it's clear again to continue. But rain does not stop the expedition going ahead, I'm afraid. That's why we suggest you get yourself a decent waterproof jacket and trousers. If you're ill on the day of the expedition, then as long as your team has sufficient numbers, they can continue with the expedition. That's why we say teams of 6 or 7 is our preference. Obviously, you will not be able to take part in the expedition that day, so if at all possible, we would then move you to a team that's going out on the second weekend if you're on the first weekend. I'm afraid if you're ill on the second weekend, then there's not a lot we can do about it. But your team will hopefully be able to continue and go ahead, hence, again, the reason for the numbers we ask for. There is a cost to taking part in the DofE, but we as a school are very proud of the fact that we're one of the lowest cost providers in the South. The figures you can see here on the screen are very competitive compared with other organisations that run the award. You can see we're only covering our own costs, really. The staff who take part do so voluntarily, both in the after-school sessions and for the weekend expeditions, and we only have to cover our costs of insurance and fuel for the minibus and so on. So these are the fees that we charge, and these will be payable via WisePay. If you are struggling with these costs and you're in receipt of the pupil premium, then please do have a word with us and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Likewise, if you find the kit is too expensive, we do have a store of some equipment in school. It's all second-hand kit, but it's perfectly serviceable. We provide the tents and the trangiers, which are the cooking stoves anyway for the teams. It's the waterproof jacket and trousers and rucksacks that people have in the past asked us if we can help out with, and we do have a handful of these in the store. They're available on a first come first served basis to hire for the expedition. There will be a limit on the total number of students we can take in total across the expedition. This is purely due to staffing numbers and the amount of time involved, so your involvement will be very much on a first come first served basis. The form that you complete on the website to register your interest is the place to go as soon as you know you want to take part, and once we have reached a number that we feel we're comfortable with for the year based on the number of staff who have volunteered to help us this year, then we will draw a line and contact those who have got their forms in before that deadline, and we will let them know that they're able to take part this year. So hopefully that's answered all the questions you have. If you have any further questions, by all means email dofe@litchit.org.uk and we'll do our best to answer them. Or if you're in school, come and find either Mr. Mead or myself, Mr. Coombs. I'm in the IT office, and we will do our best to answer your questions. Finally, we do have a couple of social media accounts for keeping parents informed. So once you've signed up and you're involved, we suggest to parents that they become part of the Facebook group that we'll create for the year. That will be a closed group so that we can post updates and news on what's happening both in the training sessions and then more significantly out on expedition. We'll try and post a few photos and news of what's going on throughout the course of the weekends so that parents can keep informed and maybe have a chuckle at some of the things that have gone on. I hope you found this presentation useful. As I said, do come and find either Mr. Mead or myself if you have any further questions, and we'd be more than happy to help. We look forward to as many of you as possible signing up as soon as you can.
So I hope you found that interesting. If you've still got any questions, please come and have a chat with me wherever you see me, or speak to Mr. Coombs. And if you do want to sign up, and I hope you do, there is an online form on the website. It is going to be first come, first served, so please get yourself signed up as soon as possible. Thank you.